A few weeks ago, someone asked me in preparation for the Ascend Summit, like, why are you creating this room? We're creating a room of entrepreneurs from all different industries to talk about business. Like, what's the point? And I went back to the idea of like the power of proximity. It's something I truly believe in. I think it's one of the best possible things you can do for your growth, especially as an entrepreneur, is put yourself in rooms with people doing more than you. But don't limit it so much as to just one niche. Because what I found over time is when you're able to put yourself in rooms with people from different industries, still operating at a high level, ideally higher than you, the newfound perspectives that they bring can change your outlook on business. Some of the conversations I've had with people on the podcast, with people in conversation at networking events, masterminds, usually the most profound takes aren't from people who are directly in your business. It's from someone who's looking from the outside and questioning things. Well, why do you do things that way? And you're like, well, I don't know. Could we do it a better way? And they say, well, this is what we do in our business. Like, ooh, I could take a piece of that. The power of proximity is super powerful, but don't limit it to just your industry. It's been incredibly impactful for me in my business, having these different perspectives. And not only that, but what I've actually looking back as I was reflecting here, a lot of my most significant business connections, whether it's business partners, colleagues, friends, referral partners, all came from rooms that I put myself in that I knew people who were going to be there were doing better than me. Not just because, again, I think people assume that when you say the power of proximity, that you're going to be put in front of someone who's going to like show you the secret. Like this person's going to unlock the golden key and like change my whole business. Not quite like that, but it's the mindset and the mindset shift that this perspective brings from someone who's already either done the thing or is doing it at a much higher level in a different capacity. Because a lot of the business philosophies kind of overlap. Whether you run a coffee shop, a home services business, or you do Botox injecting, like those fundamental business principles are all the same, but the nuances of each business creates different perspectives that when they look at each other can change and influence how the others operate. And for me, those types of rooms are exactly why we created the Ascend Summit. We wanted to make a place that people could go and experience this same philosophy. Last year, we had the Mastermind Conference in Worcester. We had about 150 people show up. And since then, I've had at least 5 or 6 conversations with people who were in that room, and their entire trajectory of their business changed from that one room. I met a home inspector. It was a home inspection company. He met 2 people in that room. He decided to bring on his team and grow his operations into another state, and his whole business has changed. Now he has goals to grow in new states, expand the operations, hire more people, train. He was so hyper localized, and he didn't really know how he was going to find those people until he met them at the event. Other people I met at the event, some of the most successful real estate investors that I know met at a networking event. Like 2 business partners went to an event after hours, met each other, and now they own multiple, 8-figure companies. So you don't really know what's going to happen by putting yourself in the room, but you'll never know if you don't. And my love for real estate investing started in a networking event. It was right after COVID. I went to a networking event here in Worcester, Mass. And I actually just learned about 2 people's stories of how they went from owning a few properties to owning, hundreds of units. And through that process, I met some of my closest mentors, business partners, colleagues in that very room. And to this day, I don't know what would have happened if I didn't go. And I remember that day because it was a cold, rainy day, and I was about to get in my car. I'm like, should I just stay home? I was like, nope. I said, I'm going, I'll go. And I went. I didn't know anyone. I knew no one in the room. I went to an event by myself in Worcester. I showed up in a suit, which, you have to. But I get there, everyone's in sweatshirts. Like I'm the only guy in a suit, which is fine. Be the best dressed, but I'd rather be the worst. But as I was in the room, I was still questioning, like, oh, should I just, maybe get a beer and go home? And I said, you know what? I'm going to stick it through. I'm going to meet 5 people. And I started going around shaking hands. And then to this day, it was like one of the best decisions I ever made. Met some of my other business partners, Ben Carboni, for those who are on, listen to the show, see me on social media, one of my closest friends and business partners. I met him at a networking group that I started in Worcester. He came on to one of our meetings. We met a couple of years ago. And ever since then, we've been obviously super close and do a lot together. I could go on and on. But all these people that I met were just because I put myself in a room of people who were doing activity. They were doing business at a high level. And then the more you can put yourself in rooms with people who are doing business at a higher level, the more you're able to change your mindset, change your perspective. I had some conversations, had some dinners with people who are running like 8, 9-figure companies. The things that they think about and talk about are so different. You might go and sit down at dinner and talk to your friend about the Celtics, which is great. They love the Celtics, go for it. But if you ever sit down with like a billionaire, I haven't really met one, but if you do, like people operating 8-figure, 9-figure companies, just the things they talk about are so much different. Like they're locked in all the time. And their perspective is just so removed from what you might think. Because if you have a business and you're like have 1 or 2 employees, like your problems for them, like that's their operations manager's assistant's problem. Like they don't even know those exist anymore because it never gets to them. They're thinking about way bigger problems. Like, do we acquire this new company? Do we sell off this entire office? What's going on with legal? Like, are we getting sued again? Like, do we have lawsuits? Are we protected from compliance? Should we do these TV ads? Should we cross promote? Like they're at such a different level that just their mindset's so different. So I highly encourage it. I really do believe you're the average of the top 5 people you spend the most time with, and the rooms you can put yourself in can significantly change your trajectory. And that's why I'm so inspired to make these types of rooms for other people, creating opportunities for people to network, hopefully find new business partners, and take something meaningful away that can change their business. Hopefully you found this helpful. I know it's for me. It's a topic I keep near and dear to my heart, and we'll see you on the next one.